Looking for a great place to purchase Dragon Ball Super product? Look no further than Pro Play Games. They carry a wide array of singles and sealed product at amazing prices. Go to www.pro-playgames.com today.
Welcome to the Mafuba Jar, where you've been sealed away for another amazing video. And today is going to be a deck profile of the Golden Frieza deck, yellow-blue version. I wish copyright wasn't a thing. Otherwise, I'd be playing the rock version of Frieza's theme for the entire video. The one that goes, Frieza, Frieza, Frieza. Yeah, that one. That's so awesome. And I hate that copyright exists. But, oh well, what can you do? So, this is actually a pretty good deck. Like, Frieza in general, it's not the broken draft leader Frieza, but this Frieza is still pretty good. And I'll explain to you why he's a yellow leader, obviously. And his activate mean is once per turn, you can place one of your Frieza's army battle cards in the drop area, then choose up to one of your energy and switch to active mode, then draw a card. So, not only do you get to retap energy, but you also get to draw as well off of that. So, that's really good. Like, really, really good. And he awakens at 4 life, and let's go ahead and check out his awakened side, Ultimate Form, Golden Frieza. His activate main remains the same. You place one of your Frieza's army and battle cards in the drop area, but you can choose up to 2 of your energy cards and switch them to active mode, and you still draw a card. And when he attacks, you draw a card. Very standard stuff. But what's really cool is that it's any energy. It doesn't have to be a yellow energy. So you discard Frieza's army, then you can retap either 2 yellow, a yellow and a blue, or 2 blue if you wanted to. So lots of possibilities with this leader here. So, I'm gonna go right into the main deck. This is gonna be one of your power plays of the deck, Avenging Frieza. Now, he's a yellow 1-drop. And when you play this card, you look at the top 3 cards of your deck. You choose up to 1 Frieza's army among them with an energy cost of 2 or less and add it to your hand. Then shuffle your deck. So, as I said, this is gonna be your main play of the deck, and not to mention your main target for your leader's ability, because once you play this guy, he's completely useless. So, like I said, he's your main target to use for the Frieza ability. Next up here, we have 3 copies of Sorbet, the Loyal Commander. And what he does, he's a blocker, but he does a little bit more than just blocking. Once per turn during battle, you place 1 card from your hand in the drop area. Then you look at the 2 top cards of your deck, you choose up to 2 Frieza's army among them and place them in your combo area. Then you place any other cards that aren't Frieza's army battle into the drop area. So even though he only has 1,000 power, he can make himself pretty big when he's using blocker. So definitely a pretty good card to have. And my other 1-drop here is going to be 4 copies of Guldo. Now, why Guldo out of all of them? Well, he's a 1-drop for starters and another blocker, so that's good. And when you play this card, if your leader card is Frieza's army, you choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 2 or less and switch it to rest mode. So this is good for switching low-cost blockers into rest mode, and just cards in general that you want to put into rest mode, so your opponent can't use them to combo out of an attack. And believe it or not, that's it for the 1-drop battle cards. At least for the yellow side. Alright, and now for our extra cards here for yellow. We have 4 copies of Frieza's Call. Now you activate this during your main phase and you choose one Frieza's army card with an energy cost of 2 or less from your deck and play in rest mode, then shuffle your deck. One thing that's really cool about Frieza's Call is that not only can you get Avenging Frieza from Frieza's Call, you can still activate Frieza's auto, because this doesn't specify from the hand. It just says when you play this card. And when you play with Frieza's Call, that counts as playing it even though it's in rest mode. So you still get your search ability from Avenging Frieza when you play with Frieza's Call, which I think is really cool. And now we're going to get into some of the most disgusting cards in all of Dragon Ball Super, and I'm sorry your eyes have to be exposed to this, but we're running 4 copies of Crusher Ball. I know. Bring in your booing. Bring in how disgusted you are with me. I know. I'm a horrible person. I deserve it. But Crusher Ball is so good when you're the one playing it. So basically when your opponent plays down a battle card, you play Crusher Ball, and that battle card is put into rest mode. So it's essentially useless for that turn your opponent plays it down. So, especially if you're like low on life, Crusher Ball can definitely buy you a turn. And same thing with, please don't hate me. Please don't hate me, guys, but I'm running 4 copies of Cold Bloodlust too. Again, it's horrible when you're going against it, but it feels so good when you're the one playing it. Like, it's honestly a guilty pleasure. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry, I'm only human. I'm not even saying I'm only human. So for those of you who don't know what Cold Bloodlust does is, if your leader card is Frieza's army, so it's nice that Cold Bloodlust has that kind of restriction. Whenever your opponent plays on a battle card, you activate Cold Bloodlust and their skills are negated for the turn. So, let's say you're going against a Vegito deck and they drop down that 10-drop Ultimate Vegito, and then you just Cold Bloodlust it. So they lose their triple strike and triple attack. Should be like, what now? And that's the point where you might want to cover your face, because that guy will probably punch you out of this pure saltiness within him. And no one would blame him because you played Cold Bloodlust. You knew this was coming. No, I'm kidding. But no, these are all actually really powerful cards, and the fact that they're so low cost to play is why people think they're so toxic. Because all you really have to do, like I said, at least for Cold Bloodlust, it's leader restricted. Crusher Ball, it's not. All you need to, you literally just tap a yellow energy to play Crusher Ball. And it almost does the same thing as Cold Bloodlust. So, yep, that's why. And last up for our extras here for 1-drops, we have 2 copies of Battering Laser. Now, upon testing, this card actually did come in handy a few times. Because what this does is it counters a counter card. You place 1 yellow card from your hand in the drop area to negate the counter. So if, let's say you attack and your opponent plays a Whis, you could play Battering Laser, discard a yellow card, and just negate that. So the attack still goes through. Or say if they get a Mafuba, nope, no you don't. Or say if you're going against the mirror match and they try to Cold Bloodlust and Crusher Ball, no you're not. So honestly, Battering Laser can come in handy. Now, I have debated bumping this up to 3 because of what all the counter stuff that's going on right now, especially with the draft leader Frieza. It's just, outside of draft leader Frieza, I really don't play this card too much. So that's why I think 2's perfect right now. Though, like I said, in the future, depending on how the meta goes, I may bump this up to 3. So that does it for our 1-drop yellows. And now let's go into our higher drops. So we have 4 copies of Dodoria Emperor's Attendant. This is basically your 10,000 combo Piccolo for yellow. So it does the same as all the other ones. When your life is at 4 or less, you combo with this card. It's 10,000 on the combo for the turn, and you get to draw a card. So pretty good, pretty good. And speaking of things to combo with, we also run 2 copies of Destruction Occupation Frieza. Now, when you combo with this card, after that battle is done, you get to play this card in rest mode. And it's a 1500 beat or so. Honestly, you're basically paying 1 energy to have another beater on the field, so that's pretty good. Definitely can't complain about that. And now, let's go into our higher drop cards here. So we have 3 copies of Occupation of Evil Frieza. This is the Tournament Pack 2 promo. It's actually really good. So what it is it's a 4-drop with 20,000 power, and it's got double strike, so not bad. And its main activation is you place 2 of your yellow battle cards other than this card in the drop area. Then you choose 1 golden Frieza to resurrect a Terra from your hand, evolve into it, without paying the energy by the way. And if you do, draw 2 cards. So it's a free evolve on a heavy drop card, and you get to draw off of it. So it's really good. Speaking of which, I say itch, what's wrong with me? We have 3 copies of Golden Frieza the Resurrected Terror, which this card applies to here. It's a 7-drop, 6 to evolve, so that's why this effect is really good. You're essentially paying 4 energy to play this card if it's in your hand. And this one has triple strike. Eesh, that's pretty brutal. And its auto is when a card evolves into this card, you place all rest mode battle cards except for this card in the drop area. Then you choose all active mode battle cards except for this card and switch them all to rest mode. So this basically gets rid of your opponent's rest cards and switches their active cards to rest mode, while being triple strike with 30,000 power. My goodness. Whew, yeah. If you could pull off this combo and not get your stuff negated, or even have Battering Laser in your hands to negate to negate, you've basically won right there. It's just super overwhelming. And believe it or not, that is gonna do it for our yellow cards. Now we're going to go into our blue engine here. There's not too much to say about the blue engine. Other than a couple cards, it's pretty standard. 4 copies of Whis' Coercion. Just probably the best counter attack card in the game. So play it for a single energy, negate the attack, then you switch one of your energy to active mode. And what's a little cool about this is that like normally you would switch the blue energy. That's why people say you essentially pay it for free. But in this deck, having a yellow energy untap can be just as good. And it doesn't say it has to be a blue energy. So let's say you've got your only one blue energy untapped. Play this guy, and you know if you don't have another Whis in your hand, but you have Cold Bloodlust or Crushable in hand, you just retap a yellow energy and have that ready. So definitely a neat little trade there. And next up is going to be 3 copies of Encouraging Presence Manaka. What this does is that it's an activate during your main phase, and it gives your leader card double strike, and you get to draw a card. So this is really good. So it gives, on top of being able to retap and draw, it gives you double strike, and you immediately draw another card when you activate this. So lots of draws with this deck. Lots and lots of draws. Especially for a deck that doesn't even play Majin Buu. That's right, I don't play Majin Buu in here. I tried to find room, but I just could not find room. The only room you would have for Majin Buu is you would take out the Manaka, but I find Manaka does a lot more for me, honestly. And now we have 4 copies of the Dabbing Objection. Very, very powerful in this deck. You tap 2, then you choose 1 card from your hand and add it to your energy in active mode. So, definitely good. That's really the main reason anyone plays the blue engine index is for objection. And last up for our blue cards here, we run 2 copy of Returning Evil Golden Frieza. So what this card does, it's a 5-drop, 25,000 power, has double strike, and when you play this card, you choose one of your battle cards and return it to your hand. Then choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, place it at the bottom of their deck, and any cards underneath that card are placed in the drop area. So it's like the 7-drop. It's a good way to get rid of cards, troublesome battle cards on your opponent's field. And for those of you wondering, no, I do not run Senzu Bean in here. I tried Senzu Bean, but it was basically useless because Frieza can already retap energy and draw. So I personally felt Senzu Bean wasn't needed. But that's just my opinion. You can feel free to agree or disagree. So that does it for my blue, I almost said blue-red, blue-yellow Frieza deck. Hope you guys enjoyed this deck. If you did, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. And stick around next week for my buddy Kay is going to be building his deck as well. I'm not going to give any spoilers, but hopefully you guys get that. All right, so you all have a wonderful day. You have been released.